riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I'm Garrett Harvey.
Tim Richardson
is my co-host. This week, we've got a special one. Tim, this is why we do this show. We have the one, the only, Limp Bizkit.
That's right. The big one.
Yeah, not just any Limp Bizkit. We bring you the best. Significant Other, 1999. Tim, do you hate this album?
Yes, I do. This is terrible.
No dithering, no confusion. You hate it.
I do. Garrett, do you hate this album?
Tim, I fucking hate this album. I cannot stand this album. This is my least favorite album to date.
That is surprising.
Right. Well, let's dig into the meat of this. How did this thing come to be? How did we come to get the creature known as the Limp Bizkit?
So,
like all great things,
it comes from Florida.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, Florida, for yet another one. We can start with Freddie D. He's originally from North Carolina.
All right, hold on. I have to assume Freddie D is Fred Durst.
Fred Durst, yes.
This is another patented Tim nickname.
Effie Durst? That sounds
Effie
way
Durst.
worse. All right. So, Effie Durst.
No, I won't abide this. Freddie D at most.
Fair enough. So he is originally from North Carolina. As a young man, he develops interests in heavy metal, beatboxing,
rapology,
and rapotomy. He was apparently in the Navy for 2 years. I mean, I assume there's a dishonorable discharge in there.
I was going to say, can you sign up for the Navy for a 2-year term?
I don't think so. But again, I don't know.
It's a pre-9/11 world. That factors huge into this.
He was apparently married 1990 to 1993. During that time period, his wife banged all his friends.
Yes.
Then he moves to Jacksonville. He's a landscaper and tattoo artist.
That's where it should have started and ended for him.
Yes. In Jacksonville, Florida, he meets the rest of the band.
Yep.
They become locally popular in the Jacksonville, Florida music scene.
Okay, let's look at this for a minute. It's 1994. You're in Jacksonville, Florida. You're into Limp Bizkit. That adds up.
Sure.
This makes sense.
And in all honesty, they weren't necessarily thought of as a good band. They were thought of as sort of a curiosity, mostly for their somewhat aggressive covers of both George Michael and Paula Abdul.
It was a sideshow, and then one of the guys also covered his body in paint. Which we'll talk about later.
They named themselves Limp Bizkit apparently to repel listeners.
Now I'm not a musician. Isn't it the goal to get listeners interested in the music?
I never understand this necessarily. If you're going, especially after sort of a 12-year-old boy market,
right?
Which they're clearly
Definitely
in the market for some 12-year-old boys.
Absolutely.
If you're going for that, you probably shouldn't name your band this, just from a marketing standpoint. Yeah. But everything seems to be going smoothly. No one really gave a shit about this garbage.
Sure.
And then, do you know what happened?
They met Korn.
Korn came to town.
Korn came to the rescue.
Yes, and like they tend to do, they make everything worse. Korn brought Limp Bizkit on a couple of tours. 3 years later, they come out with their first album, $3 Bill Y'all. Then 2 years later, we get this.
Anything else we should hear about Fred Durst?
In 2015, I just have to read this. This is 16 years after this record's release. However, he did kind of try to Steven Seagal it. Did you read about this?
No.
Yeah, he stated his interest in getting a Russian passport, and he wanted to spend half his year in specifically Crimea. He wanted, I guess, to summer in Crimea. He wrote a letter. He stated Vladimir Putin is a quote-unquote great guy with clear moral principles and a nice person. Following that, Durst was banned by the security services of Ukraine from entering Ukraine for 5 years, quote-unquote, in the interest of guaranteeing the security of the country. Good for you, Ukraine. You did what America couldn't. Well done.
Got Fred Durst out of your country.
I don't know.
Seagal, I get.
I mean, sorta.
Presumably, Fred Durst has a shit ton of money.
He's got about $20 million, according to the internet.
Well, that's confusing.
The point is, these guys never should have made it, and I blame Korn at least 70%.
I'll give him 60, because from what I understand, Durst is a hustler. He'll just keep flipping that hat around and getting what needs to be done.
Fair enough.
Prior to this, Tim, What was your exposure to Limp Bizkit, specifically this album?
I owned $3 Bill Y'all, and
Wow.
I mean, again, this
That
was
will
whenever...
be 3 shame strikes after the podcast.
That's fair. This record came out right before 9th grade for me. So I'm actually saved from having to admit that I was a huge Significant Other fan, mostly because at that age, I was a shitty contrarian. I was probably listening to, I don't know, Pennywise. Yeah.
Just sitting there in the corner.
Exploring my sexuality with the Smiths. I do remember specifically the song Nookie, only because at 10 o'clock every day, 94.5 The Buzz, they would play this because that was the time that it was just late enough that all the suits had gone to sleep.
I can't stand Suits.
I know.
Yeah.
They won't let you listen.
Just go to sleep, Suits.
Yeah,
These kids want to party.
Yeah.
Let's break some stuff.
Yeah.
And get some Nookie. Or cookies.
And yeah.
What's this about?
But this was a marketing ploy that definitely worked on me. Just be like, oh, hey, this is when they play the naughty songs.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's embarrassing to me now. What about you? Are you familiar?
Almost nothing.
Yeah,
Almost nothing.
That's
I
good.
knew the Nookie song, technically the first 30 seconds of the song. I was just old enough that I was starting to listen to decent music. However, as we pointed out, there may or may not have been some Sublime in the mix, possibly some Jimmy Buffett in the mix.
It's a Smash Mouth.
A lot of Smash Mouth.
All the Smash Mouth.
All the Smash's Mouth. This week really confirmed for me I missed nothing. Okay, general thoughts. How do you feel about this album?
Well, I have a theory to share with you. I think that this is a theory that if you view this album through this lens, it makes sense.
So the crux of your appraisal of this album probably lie within this theory.
Yes, the
right.
unifying theory of the
Limp
Bizkit.
Bizkit.
Yeah, here's what I submit to you. We know that Fred Durst had a wife.
Yes.
We know that Fred Durst has a child.
Yes.
But we also know that Fred Durst's wife liked to have sex with other people.
Yes.
I submit to you that at the time this album was written, Fred Durst was a virgin.
Oh my God.
Right? Because it completely explains the anger. It explains the weird overcompensation on the sexual stuff. It explains specific lyrics that we can get into later.
will.
But if you think about it like that, this whole thing makes sense. Now, he's probably weaseled his gross, dirsty way into somebody's vagina at this point. However, maybe it hasn't been since 1993. If you spend the years 22 to 28 not having sex, or the
You
first
become a Unabomber.
or a Limp Bizkit.
Oh my gosh. This changes everything.
Yeah. Also, to this point, he does have a history of lying about having sex with people. Now, he dated every Britney Spears lookalike, including Britney Spears, and at least 2 of those have come out and been like, that never happened. Of
course
I'm not going to
Fred
bang
Durst.
that guy.
No one's banging
Yeah.
Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm not bought in 100% yet, but I am definitely on your side.
So, can we do the hashtag Fred Durst is a virgin? Can we get that
It feels
trending?
long. That feels long. I wish we could come up with something slightly catchier, like Biscuit Virgin.
Biscuit Virgin.
Biscuit Virgin. That is Bizkit. Don't get confused. Biscuit Virgin. I want to see if bizkitvirgin.com is there.
Yes.
New website.
For making porn.
No, what?
Okay.
This show is about music.
Yeah.
Is it?
Okay. We're getting off track.
Yeah.
Fred Durst is a virgin. Or possibly had not had sex for a very, very long time.
Yeah, which, as we all know, if you do not use it, you do in fact lose it.
That is a medically verified fact.
Yeah, scientists proved it.
Yes.
That's why we went to the moon.
It is? Well, it's what we learned on the moon. That's why we went. Can I offer some positive attributes here?
Wow, well, go right ahead.
Yeah. There was no Cheech and Chong on here.
Hey, you're right.
Yeah. There was no fake Jamaican accents. There was no ska. And I also will say, the drum and bass had moments of excellence.
Sure.
There were very few moments.
Sure.
And I think, not in this band, not in this album, in another decade, in another band, and obviously Fred Durst died at birth, I think Wes Borland could be a good guitarist.
I think Wes Borland is suffering a quiet indignity known as Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Trapped in a gilded cage with Fred Durst. Who wouldn't gnaw their fucking arm off to get out of there?
Yeah, and on the Wes Borland note, we have to also address the fact that looking at pictures of these people is hilarious.
It's confusing.
Because there's 4 white guys
Yes.
who are dressed like 90s hip-hop black guys, and then there's one guy off in a corner who's dressed like a spooky skeleton,
Yes.
or like a robot version of Guy Fawkes.
While we're still talking about general thoughts of the album, this is, of course, new metal. The newest of new metal.
Yeah.
We're talking about a capital N, capital U. The vocal stylings of Mr. Durst are varied as they are bad.
Yes.
So I always called Eminem white guy rap. That's
Yep.
not true. He is a skilled rapist rapping in a style made popular by the African American community. Agreed?
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
Fred Durst is white people rap.
That's right.
Fred Durst is a drunk guy at the end of the party that won't fucking go home. Fred Durst. I'd like to have a word with you. The hat, the pants, the wraparound glasses.
Yeah.
And I think he basically looks the same, just older.
Yeah, sometimes he grows a giant beard. I will say he can grow a good beard.
That man can grow a beard like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But he didn't start a band to grow a sweet beard.
No.
You can't tour on a sweet beard, can you?
No. Well, I mean, you can, but it has to be a beard-related tour.
Oh, so I would need other bearded men to come with me.
You could be someone's beard?
No. Okay.
Anyway, the point is, you should ride around on a train with bearded men and stop in various towns to beard it up.
Show off our beards.
Yeah, let people run their hands.
Let me ask you, whoa, this is strictly a look and don't touch situation. How much would you pay to go to a what would we call this? A bearding?
Let me ask you this. Is your beard of average quality here?
Is the quality of the beard...
Is your beard representative?
Absolutely.
And
it's not about length, it's about quality.
Yeah,
thickness,
of course, yeah.
how well you maintain it.
I would pay $7.
Okay.
I know it's not what you want.
No.
Because you got to split that with the other beards.
Right. But I'm the organizer, so I take a promotion fee.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. And I'm not the only one going to this beard show.
We're not making $7 a day. Plus, you don't live in small towns across America. I can't expect you to follow me around.
I will.
Right. Of course you will. Right. What else are you going to do?
Are all their album titles, are they gay references? Because you got $3 bill, which is typically the phrase queerer than a $3 bill.
Which could just be a peculiar situation, but I stand you.
But then you've got significant other at a time whenever...
there were vagaries to protect the average homosexual.
And then the album title after this, Chocolate Starfish, Hot Dog Flavored Water, that's buttholes and dicks, right?
Yeah, that's 100% buttholes and dicks.
Are they...
So... When you began discussing your Fred Durst theory, I thought this might be where we were headed. I love your virgin idea. I think that makes more sense. However, unifying theory of everything, what if he was in fact a virgin because he found vaginas gross? And then when he finally did have sex, it happened to be with a chocolate starfish, and was like, oh, I love this, but all of his sexual references don't make sense to you and me because they're not for us.
That could be.
Interesting. So
Fred Durst is a gay virgin.
Was a gay virgin.
Yeah.
Let's get into these tracks. Number 1, intro. Let me just say, clever name. This is the first of many, many boxes that this album's going to tick for this show that are key indicators something's gone wrong. There shouldn't be intros, segues, voicemails. I think everything I just listed is on this album.
Yeah.
Boy. Could they have been more on the nose with this one?
No. It starts off with, you wanted the worst, you got the worst, the one, the only, Limp Bizkit.
So they're admitting up top.
Yeah, I agree.
That I have purchased a shitty album.
Yes.
So this song bothered me for 3 days. Because the way that he says Limp Bizkit, to me, sounded an awful lot like another song that I could not place. First, I thought I was remembering the classic Arrested Development episode in which Job reads the menu of the club that they belong to his fiancée / girlfriend / she's Lucille too in the show.
Yeah, what is her? It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. However, he repeatedly, because she enjoys the sound of his voice, reads everything with club sauce. So every time I heard Limp Bizkit, I actually heard with club sauce. But it turns out that's actually not what was in my head. What was really in my head is the hit B-52 song, but not sung by them, sung by one Peter Griffin on Family Guy, Rock Lobster.
Yeah.
Every goddamn time I heard Limp Bizkit, what in my head I heard Rock Lobster.
With club sauce.
With club sauce.
Yeah. I like it. None of this ever came through my head.
Of course not. You're not a psycho.
Song number 2.
Yeah, let's not waste any more time.
Just like this. This is when, obviously we're 20, 30 seconds into this album. This is when I immediately realized all these songs are going to have intros, they're going to have outros, they're going to have weird bridges, they're going to have skits, they're going to have all sorts of horseshit.
And none of them will be less than 4 minutes.
No. There's lots of talk on this about keeping those beats fat.
You got to keep the beats fat.
You got to keep them fat. John, keep those beats fat.
Yeah.
I personally kind of hate when bands sing about singing. Or
Yeah.
the music itself. It's a song. We know it's a song.
It's also
you know
about
it's
the
a
song we're listening
Yes,
to.
Exactly.
It just shows you didn't know what to sing about.
Goddamn record scratches. I really hope this is going to be the last instance of those.
Poor past Tim.
Yeah.
Just getting started.
The bass in the background. It's the only way I could think of to describe it is plasma-y. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's just sort of this
Amorphous moving sound.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Plasma-y.
Let me ask you an important question that comes up in this album. Who is in the house?
Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit is in the house.
Tim? Who's in the house?
Limp Bizkit's in the house, y'all.
You're goddamn
Limp Bizkit's
right.
in the house, y'all.
Limp Bizkit's in the house, y'all. Oh, wait, you know what? We're getting off track. Guys, we hate this album.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
This is more music for a dystopian future. You know, it sounds hardcore, but if you listen to the words, it's an inspirational message about doing what you got and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right. Number 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
Nookie. I did it all for the Nookie.
First single off the album.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
is this a single?
It was wildly popular.
Yeah.
People thought it was great.
Yeah, and this is a song about his wife cheating on him with all of his friends in the
Right.
early 90s. Allegedly, instead of having sex with this virgin.
Potentially because he was not attracted to women.
Yes.
Which, hey, Mr. Durst, that's okay.
It's okay.
Live your truth.
Yes.
Live your truth.
But don't worry, he's wealthier than all these other guys are now.
Well,
So-
then that's all that matters.
Yeah, my girlie ran away with my pay when fellas came to play. Now she's stuck with my homies that she fucked. Cool.
Great.
Yeah. It's got the worst bridge of any song we've ever done. The, hey, like a chump, hey, like a chump.
I'm glad you brought that up. I have a chump count.
Really?
I have a chump count.
This is fascinating.
We get like a chump 7 times in a row. Now that's too much.
It is too much.
However, we get chump 7 times in a row 4 times. That's 28 chumps. That is, and I'm going to be real liberal here, 21 too many chumps. I called it the start of the dueling songs because you've got 2 songs happening here. You've got the lighter side. Then comes in the heavy nu metal guitar that can be transplanted between any one of these songs, and it wouldn't make a goddamn bit of difference.
So you're saying that this is like the updated
No.
version of the quiet, loud dynamic of your Nirvanas or your Pixies?
I
say.
would say it's more of the classic collaboration that you get with a Lennon-McCartney trying to create the perfect sound for a song.
They're all a day in the life.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I'm in on your theory. Fred Durst is a virgin, and all these songs are as good as a day in the life.
And potentially a closeted homosexual.
Yeah.
Again, Mr. Durst.
Again.
Live your truth.
Yeah. We get a classic 90s not joke. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
Okay, so it's kind of sad. I'm the laughing stock of the neighborhood, and you would think that I'd be moving on, but I'm a sucker, like I said, fucked up in the head. Not!
Oh.
The genius annotation for this is fun. Everyone knows that his girl is treating him like shit and playing games, but Fred doesn't care. He's still in it for the Nookie, obviously. And I would argue that he's not. He's not in it for the Nookie.
I don't think
he's
he knows-
afraid of the Nookie. He doesn't know how to do the Nookie.
Right. If you could give him a diagram or maybe explain why he's not sexually aroused when it becomes time for Nookie. So this feeds into your theory really well. Why else would you pick the word Nookie?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if you had started the song by wanting to sing a song about cookies and then needed to find a song that rhymed with it, sure.
Yeah.
But I feel as though the crux, the drive, if you will, of the song is about the Nookie.
Yeah.
But instead he's getting cookies.
Yes, he's not getting Nookie. He's getting baked goods.
And if anyone's ever heard this song and they're like, yeah, but he does say you can stick it up your ass. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I've pored over these lyrics. He has selectively chosen to be not profane during the parts that will be heard on the radio.
Yes. Some more possibly out of context virgin evidence here. Why did it take so long? Why did I wait so long, huh? To figure it out, but I did. And I'm the only one underneath the sun who didn't get it. I think
That
he's
he's
talking
gay. A gay version.
Ostensibly,
Gay
he's
fish?
talking about his wife cheating on him. He's the only one that doesn't know.
Right. Is
He,
that what you
he
think?
doesn't know how to make the Nookie. Because
He
he's
could have
never
just
done
asked
it.
a good friend or a scientist. So my last complaint with this is actually Wes Borland's complaint with this. Let me read a quote. The music was cool, but I didn't like the lyrics at all. The funny thing is that Nookie was actually the working title. When we were in the studio, there was a porn magazine that had the word Nookie on the cover. So I was like, this song's called Nookie. I never thought someone would actually run with it, and I suppose it's my fault.
It is. You have to set firm limits with your Durst.
Yeah.
With any Durst.
If you don't let the Durst know who is the alpha male. All right, let's move it along. Number 4, Break Stuff.
This song is the soundtrack of Woodstock 99 officially going to shit.
Yes.
Officially. It was always...
I like to consider it the desecration of the memory of Woodstock.
The music video for this has cameos from Alec Baldwin, from Derek Jeter, and Richard Lewis. The late 90s were a very, very strange time.
I guess this was before Alec Baldwin had his resurgence in comedy.
Yes, definitely.
Boy, he was hurting for work.
I guess Derek Jeter just... he wears a Yankees hat.
He'll do
also.
anything for money.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I want to point out that he, and by that I of course mean the Durst, spends a lot of effort in this song to sound, for lack of a better word, dangerous.
He does sound dangerous.
I felt as though he was sexually coming on to me through a song.
Lots of people seem to think this guy is very tough. So I've got some genius annotations of people that have read these lyrics and would like to reassure you that he's very tough.
Let's hear about it.
Well, before I do that, I would like to point out that he's a very chubby 5'8".
Oh.
Just throwing that out there. And his pants are very baggy. He's not going to be able to move.
He's essentially Kevin Smith. Those jeans go to the end.
Yes.
That's the
exactly,
difference.
yes.
No ankles for Durst.
So it's all about the he says, she says bullshit. I think you better quit talking that shit. Stop talking shit or Fred will beat the shit out of you because he's not in the mood for dramatic bullshit.
I want to stop right there. He doesn't in any way say he's going to beat the shit out of anybody.
No.
He says it is all about the he says, she says bullshit and just stop it. He in no way offers any sort of threat or alternative. What else you got?
Punk, so come and get it. Fred's challenging to come and fight him is what it says.
Okay.
And you probably won't win with that chainsaw he has, which is stated later in the song. It's not even stated earlier. Later on, you'll find out that this man has a chainsaw.
And you brought fist to a chainsaw fight. So, this is not a knock on Limp Bizkit. I'm curious. With the common phrase, he says, she says, I was under the impression it was he said, she said.
Yes.
Not says.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that was a licensing thing?
Somebody's got
Or
that
do you think he
trademark?
literally just didn't know? Like,
I think it's...
if he had needed to use the word supposedly in this album, it would have come out supposedly.
Yeah, well, that would definitely happen. I think he's taking it from the past tense and putting it into more of a present tense context to really heighten the emotions and let you know that it's in your face, Garrett.
You're going to get a slap.
Okay. I've
earned a slap.
I have earned a single slap. I have one other genius annotation that I need to read for this specific song. It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everyone sucks. I.e., it's Monday, and then this person has copied and pasted a Garfield cartoon of him complaining about Monday.
I hope he explains Garfield and his hate of Mondays.
No. That's just expect. If you're a Fred Durst fan, you know about Garfield's feeling on Mondays.
Do we have a come and get it count on this? This song might have the most come and get it's.
I'm sure it does. I don't know.
I'm going to put it at 11.
Okay.
All right, let's take an emotional turn. Track 5, Rearranged. The guitar on this sounds like the opening to Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Second single off the album.
After Nookie, second only to Nookie.
That's right.
The record scratches. Garrett, think about it. Think about it. Oh my God, Garrett, think about it. Garrett, think about it.
This song could have only been written and produced for the sole purposes of a Christian abstinence PSA.
Right, and again, he wants everyone to practice abstinence so he's not alone.
Right. Man, this is starting to add up.
It is.
He is very pro-waiting on account of the fact that he's been waiting so long.
And does not know how to make the sex with a human, male or female.
Sure.
He doesn't...
Boy, think about that. Not only is he got the wrong gender, but to add insult to injury, he wouldn't even know what to do.
Yes.
So lost. And honestly, I think he's going to have to start traditional and then... It's like when you start skiing, you just do the bunny slopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you hit moguls later, which in this instance would be sex with men.
Yes. Yes.
Double black diamond.
Ugh. There are points on this where the drum and bass did not suck.
Okay.
The outro got me every time. Every time I thought this was over, a minute and a half before it was over.
Yeah.
And that's unfair.
Yeah, you're dealing with a 5-minute and 50-second track here.
Why?
And at minute 3:40, you're like, oh, thank God, it's winding down. Oh, my God, no. Morphs into this poor man's Bush, Kind of felt
Yes.
like Machine Head, but, you know, if halfway through Gavin Rossdale was just like, it's good enough. In the digital copies that we had, because it's 2018, we would get what seemed to be intros of the next song at the end of some songs. So this is where you get like a good 90 seconds record solo.
Yes.
And it's one of the more commendable parts to me. And I'll tell you why. Not just because I know that you were at home ripping your eyebrows out. That part's great. That's always an added bonus. If you can have a good friend suffer while you're enjoying something, it makes it taste twice as
Absolutely.
good. However, this is a style of music. There are people that will create a beat and a backing track using record scratches.
Sure.
And the fact that it was isolated, there was no heavy metal guitar behind it, no dursting over it, I can get behind it.
Okay.
I don't need it.
You love the outro. Gotcha.
Okay. I knew you were going to take it this way, and that's why I was very methodical in how I laid out my argument. But yeah, I love it. You ready for the next one?
I am.
Hit us.
I'm broke. This might be my least favorite. And every time this started, I kept looking, because I don't know the music for break stuff, but every time I heard this, it's like, did break stuff start again? Did we go back to song 4?
I'll tell you one line that always tripped me up. And wipe your brains off my windshield wiper, you dirty bug. Again, I have to question, for such a hardcore man that is Fred Durst, you dirty bug?
It sounds like something that the nurse would call...
Third grader. Oh, geez, let's clean that up before we put a Band-Aid on there, you dirty bug.
It's a very Minnesota-ian thing
I felt
to
like
say.
it might be an inside joke. Okay, once again, I'm going to put forward that this is an impromptu song. I have heard better songs on Whose Line Is It Anyway? I felt like Drew Carey was there, and they're like, all right, guys, the topic is being poor, and the style is... I'm hearing rap. Okay, and go. Fucking watch out, Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady's great.
Track 7, Nobody Like You, featuring the one, the only Jonathan Davis,
J-Devil.
and Scott Weiland. Just a who's who of talentless burnouts.
This might be my least favorite song on here.
Let me ask you, is that because of the whisper singing?
Again, fuck Korn for bringing these guys to us, and fuck them for this. The first complaint I have with J-Devil. On the very first episode of this show, I complained about him pronouncing B as Bay,
Yes.
me as May, to rhyme I don't know what. It doesn't
Doesn't
matter. Mispronouncing these very simple words. And on this, he does that exact same thing. It's the exact same it drives me fucking crazy.
They're not, the lyrics don't rhyme, J-Devil.
Yes.
I was so confused to see Scott Weiland on here.
Yes.
Let me start there.
Well, let's stick with the J-Devil.
Okay,
just for a
sorry,
minute,
I'm
because
sorry.
The other thing, the thing that Garrett already brought up, is the whisper singing.
It's like me.
Yeah. Hate me.
Yo.
Fucked me.
Yeah, how...
Garrett.
Nope, stop. I'm uncomfortable.
Fucked me.
I want to leave. I need an adult. Can we have a third party?
No.
What's the thing where the court comes in and I'm not allowed in the room alone unless there's a lady in the corner watching you?
Fucked me.
Ah.
This is my all-star.
It is.
Oh god, this is so bad.
I do like to picture him in the sound booth, though, because as anyone knows, you don't record everything all at once. So presumably you had almost the entire song, and there's a grown man in makeup saying, fucked me.
Yeah. There's also the one other thing he does in this that we complained about in the first episode, with the Korn episode.
Cornisode.
The Kornisode. He sneaks in the...
Yeah, there's a lot of
in
goes.
this. What's interesting, though, the music definitely takes a very Korn sound to it whenever he's singing. Okay, Scott Weiland.
What in the world?
I will say this, he's too good for this.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
At any point in his career, he is too good for this.
And we saw him drug-addled and useless.
It was bad.
He couldn't keep it together long enough to do a cover of his own music.
Yeah.
It was infuriating.
Yeah.
Still, on that day, when we left a Scott Weiland concert early, because fuck him and his stupid goddamn face, he was still too good for this.
Absolutely. And what's weird on this is that neither one of these guys changed their vocal styles at all to fit this song. The inflection, the way he's singing in the chorus is very Stone Temple Pilots.
Yes.
And it's bizarre to have that with the and the fucked me.
Oh, it's not getting better.
No. It was a bizarre combination of three things that had no place
They made
together.
no effort whatsoever to put it all together. I mean, hey, that's the new metal approach, Tim. You're smashing styles.
And I have a question for you. You've now heard both sides of the coin. If I made you listen to one song,
I have to
again,
pick.
a
I'm
number
on
of
an
times.
island. I only get one.
Korn's All in the Family or Limp Bizkit's Nobody Like You. Which one are you taking?
I think I go Korn.
See, I was going to go this just because there's less dicks in this one. There's
you're
a
right.
lot less
There's
dicks and dick sucking.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's fair. I do not like the whisper singing.
The only thing that I have to say about this, obviously, one last time, fucked me.
I don't know why, but I listen to this album more than most. And I think I can comfortably say that this is Scott Weiland's rock bottom. Nothing ever happened, and he never did anything else, personally or professionally, that was as disgraceful and shameful as this.
It never gets this low, but he never really recovers from this time either.
That's true. I don't think I want to talk about this song anymore.
That's fair. Number 8, Don't Go Off Wandering. This is the requisite song on every album that we do, and how difficult your life is.
Oh, yeah.
Singing, gotta
Every
be up
day.
by noon, some days, not all days, but some days.
Right. This introduces a new style of music to me. Wine rap. He's so whiny.
Yeah, it's a Biebery rap. This has the air of them thinking that this is thoughtful and deep and important.
I think so, because they also have a backing orchestra, and I think they're trying to have gravitas to him. It shows a maturing of the band. I would argue he sounds like a whiny bitch. Needs to go get laid. By a man or a woman,
Yeah,
I don't care.
just
It's not
anyone-
important to me.
It's important to him that he
Live his truth.
Yeah, and make his gross sex on or in
Whomever
another
he
human
please.
being.
Whatever gets him excited, which someone will, of course, have to explain to him what to do.
Yes.
Great.
All right.
This definitely marks that point in the album that just goes into a rolling downhill.
Right, these are, I don't know if they're worse than the other songs. In fact, they're probably slightly better, but they're the less singly type
Yes,
songs.
this is the filler. Let's move on to track 9, 1999. Bold choice to cover Prince. They come in hot and heavy with a 311 style distorted guitar, and they do not please from there. You really want to date your album, you need to throw yourself a Y2K reference in there.
That's
'Cause
true.
that is in this song. Limp Bizkit assures us that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
They've looked over the facts and they're comfortable.
Yes, they will lead us into the future.
Now that we have hindsight, Limp Bizkit won't steer you wrong.
That's
At least
true.
where
That's
it comes
true.
to catastrophic programming errors made 30 years in advance.
A little line here with a genius annotation. Fuck the glam rock assed out like Ken Shamrock. Glam rock was usually seen as a wimpier version of hard rock / heavy metal. So he's saying, fuck the pussy shit, fuck the pussy shit.
I don't feel...
Fuck the pussy shit.
You know what? I apologize. You're right. You didn't happen to take account on how many Where We Ats.
I completely dropped the ball on counting on this
That's
entire
okay.
album.
That's okay. I did a full count. I did a full Where We Ats count. Just this song. Tim, how many Where We Ats do you think are in this song?
22.
Ooh, I like that guess. Not quite, though. 16 Where We Ats.
Oh.
A little over. You wouldn't win the prize. You don't get the credenza or the boat. But you were close.
That's a lot of where...
That's a lot of Where We Ats. 16.
Yeah.
Which would make me say, let's make the song less than 4 minutes. Just once, try it out. See if it feels good. They didn't do that.
No. This song also ends with, again, one of these. I don't know if it's part of this song. I don't know if it's part of the next song. I don't know if it's in the middle somewhere and not supposed to ever be heard. But his mom, actually, singing...
That's who that is?
It is.
She's
That
so
is
good.
his mom singing My Billy Goat.
I would much rather
Absolutely.
buy... I'm going to name her Linda. I'd much rather have a Linda Durst album.
LD.
LD. Bringing it hot and heavy with My Little Goat.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Let's move it forward. In Together Now, track 10, featuring Method Man.
This is an interesting song, Garrett.
Okay.
This was produced, and most of the music was composed on this, I believe, by DJ Premier.
And to make room for Mr. Premier, other two members of the band are nowhere to be found.
Right, yes. There's no rock on this.
No. This is a straight hip-hop
This is
song.
hip-hop. And do you know who DJ Premier, or as I have nicknamed him, Christopher Edward Martin?
That's not a nickname, that's his name.
So this guy is a legitimate producer.
Okay, I would believe that.
Producer and composer for Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, K-Way later. Before this, Biggie, KRS-One, and is a member of Gang Starr.
Oh, Gang Starr's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone you just named, I want to make really clear with the exception of Kanye. Great. They're great.
So I'm not sure how he got talked into this. Frankly, I'm not sure how Method Man got talked into this.
Method Man might have been just super high.
Maybe he was really high, and once he heard what he'd done, he was just like, well, they can't.
Whatever, they won't release that. So what I read about this was that DJ Premier... Right. Was offered the gig, and he was just like, I don't think this guy's very good, and I don't want to do this. Management kind of gave him pressure. He said, just talk to Durst, see what you think afterwards. So this guy called up Fred Durst and said, hey, you're not very good, and I don't want to do this. Making him my hero.
Yeah.
But somehow got talked into it. I assume he just kept throwing money at this dude's face till he said okay.
I guess.
And I would argue the best produced song on this album
Absolutely.
is this track.
Absolutely.
Doesn't make it great.
DJ Premier and Method Man really lend this a sense of legitimacy that this whole album
does not
because
deserve.
they're on here,
Right.
that it does not deserve.
Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan historically ain't nothing to fuck with.
I've heard that before.
Right. And it's been my experience from Jizza and RZA. They make a fine cup of coffee. Anyway, I enjoy Method Man on this album. Yeah. He shows you what rap can be. And I suspect he did not have anything written down when he started recording.
No, I don't think
so. And it is light years better.
Many points of this, it sounds like he's making fun of them, too.
I suspect that the chorus, Shut the Fuck Up, is directed squarely at Mr. Durst.
Yes. I don't know if it's him saying it, though. I don't know who's saying it.
I assume it was him.
Well, I know that the, what's that I didn't hear you part, the deeper voice part is definitely Method Man.
God, do you think it's
the other
Durst?
it's too high.
It's so high.
Yeah.
I don't know. The sampling to create the backing track on this, great. I really like it. The harp, I do. I'm not joking. I think it sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, no, he brought a fat beat. John, who was asked to bring a fat beat earlier in this album, maybe not bringing such a fat beat, but DJ Premier, these beats are fat.
I can't argue with that. Those are some fat beats. Let's move it along. Wow, we're in the last third here, Tim.
Yeah.
Home stretch.
This is going.
We are clipping along.
Yeah.
Track 11. Trust? I would argue bold, another Prince cover. Those of you familiar with the 1989 Batman soundtrack will recall, of course, there is a scene in which Jack Nicholson is handing out money to Gotham as the Joker, and in the background is playing Prince's Trust. That movie is awesome. Most of my notes are about Batman from this point.
Let me read to you the chorus of this. I'm too fucking good and fucking proud. I'm gonna show you how bad it hurts to be a clown. Maybe Freddy Cougar will step into your dreamin', burn you like a demon, and leave your ass screamin'. Here's a little fact. You do me like that. End up in the back of my trunk in a sack.
I feel like Eminem stepped in to write this. I began to theorize at this point that the musicians on this album were being paid by the minute. The more minutes produced,
That makes sense.
the more money.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Absolutely no reason track 11 on here, specifically Trust, there is a question mark, should have been over 4 minutes.
No.
I give this a fuck you, Korn. Let's move it along. Possibly the most evidence for your theory.
Absolutely.
Track number 12, No Sex, featuring Aaron Lewis.
So, yes, I'm pretty sure this guy's a virgin. There's lyrics on here, so I guess we undressed to have sex, dirty sex. Should have left my pants on this time, but instead you had to let me dive right in. I feel disgusted and you should too. There's all these lyrics that paint this picture of a guy who's just like, listen, you seem special and I would like to take it slow with you. Maybe we could not have sex for like a long time. And it's because he doesn't know how to have sex, Garrett.
Boy, I took it a different way. I thought that they were in a toxic relationship and that he felt as though they kept sticking around because of sex, and he's saying, no more sex.
Right, but I would argue that's his front.
Of course.
He's putting that out there as like, no, listen, I'm really a good guy. It's not all about the sex. I'm willing to, you know what? I'm willing to wait as long as you want.
Little does she know.
Date number 20.
Being a perfect gentleman.
Right, yes. He's not being a perfect gentleman. He's afraid of the nookie.
Yeah, because he doesn't know how it works.
Yes.
And because that lady might not have a penis. Again, be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, it's okay. Freddie D. Effie Durst.
If I may. Have sex with whoever you'd like.
Or don't. If you don't like having sex, that's okay.
Perhaps he's asexual.
But, he feels really pressured.
Right. Let me ask you this. Is sex filthy?
It can be.
Okay. For those of you who can't see Tim, which is all of you, thank God, I am really tempted to just stop this podcast immediately and remove you from this room. Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying.
At this point, I'd like to ask. This is a perfect song to ask this question. Does Lena Dunham approve of this album? This is not a very sex-positive viewpoint.
It's not, but I think...
She would have compassion for somebody that's struggling with an inner strife. Somebody learning who they are as a person. So I do think she'd approve of that. There's no misogyny on this album.
Some would say that in 1999, this collected all
the
misogyny.
I mean, I'm the first to tell you, Lena Dunham does not care for toxic masculinity.
This is true.
So,
not a fan.
I think where we have to leave it, this is a tough one, but I think if your theory is correct, Lena Dunham approves. Because then all of that other stuff could be ironic.
It's not ironic, it's just... It's
misinformed.
It's misinformed, but it's also a desperate plea for you, the listener, not to know that Fred Durst is a virgin.
Boy, you know what? I don't think we can answer this question. Lena Dunham, reach out to the show. Do you approve of this album?
That's right.
Weigh in.
Yeah.
Bizkit Virgin. Okay, track 13. Show me what you got.
This is interesting. I do have to mention this song because there was an article. It's the 10 worst Limp Bizkit songs.
Okay.
This song is listed as number 10. Every single, the 9 songs that are worse than this are all after this. There's nothing else on this album. There's nothing else from their first album. So that means...
What?
It only gets worse from here.
Oh this my God. Follow-up episode.
Yeah. Possibly. How many albums? They've maybe 6. So
yeah, we've got
got 5 follow-up episodes.
No, there can't be that many. All right, let's dig into this song, though. This one, again, checks a huge box for this show.
Good God.
We've run out of songs. What if I just list places I've been to or seen on a map?
Yes. Here's a fun thing. Hey, ladies.
Hey, ladies. Have you ever noticed when your man, he sounds like a bad female comic from 1994? Oh, let me ask you this, Tim. This song brings up another interesting question. Who's in the house?
Is it Limp Bizkit?
I think so. But then later on, he raises a different question. Who's in the house?
Is it? I think Limp Bizkit is still in the house.
I think so as well. Limp
Right,
Bizkit,
but we should check every once in a while.
Every time you come home from running errands, going to a film, the longer you've been out of the house, the more thoroughly you should do this. Make sure Limp Bizkit's not in your house, y'all. I can't tell you the number of times that I forget to look under the couch and that thing's full of Dursts. Okay, track 14, A Lesson Learned.
This is another song on here that thinks it's artistic, and I don't have anything to say about this.
This is one of those tracks that I completely agree with you. I think the less that is said about it, the better. They didn't put any effort into it, so why should we? That brings us to the last one, track 15. You've made it this far. Oh, what's that? It's just like track 1. We're talking about the outro.
I don't understand the point of this. We also do have the Rant,
Ugh.
which is the hidden track, maybe track 16, I
Sure.
don't know
Who
what
cares?
you want to call it, but Matt Pinfield. Can you explain this to me? So you know who this guy is.
I do.
He's a MTV VJ.
Yes. He was a respected heavy metal critic, so he wasn't just your Carson Daly that's reading a prompter and tossing to the next video. So it is the exact same track as the first track. They've added some fucks. Matt Pinfield sells his soul, and then you're done.
Yeah, we are done listening to Limp Bizkit.
Let's talk about how this thing did.
So this peaked somehow at number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loved this album. 32 weeks on the Billboard Top 200 chart.
Jesus.
This sold, and this is as of 2002. That's the most recent data I have.
That's weird.
7.6 million records in the US.
Good God.
And to date, some figures have this at 16 million sales worldwide.
Yeah, that's what I found as well.
This was the 83rd best-selling album of the 90s. Oof. And I checked when that came out, when that figure came out, and that was in like late 99, early 2000. That means that it was the 83rd best-selling album of the 90s, and it only had 6 months to do it in.
Oh, God. That's crazy.
That's not in retrospect.
This is considered an improvement over their first album, somehow.
Yeah.
That's confusing. I found this so frustrating. So the reason they were able to create this album and there was so much buzz behind the Bizkit, not only were they brought on the Family Values tour, the hell demon that spawned your Korn, they also had achieved great success by covering the brilliant George Michael's Faith.
Yeah.
That song needs no covering by these assholes.
Yeah.
But apparently everyone loved it so much that they had to get these assholes into the studio to record more gems like that.
And we'll talk about that more when we do that album someday. It was Faith, and it was Paula Abdul's, what song
Straight Up
was
No Tell Me?
No. Or it was Straight Up.
There you go.
So that's a thing. I have never heard that.
I hadn't either. So I know what I thought of it. I know what you thought of it. Sadly, I know what most of America in 1999 thought of it. Loved it. Let's move on to the critics.
So overall, the critics were pretty positive. Weirdly
super confusing.
Positive. There was a lot of praise for their unique sound, and it was, in retrospect even, it's thought of as not terrible. It was called a guilty pleasure album by respected rock journalists as recently as 2014.
I can at least support that. If somebody's like, hey, I have really good taste in music, however, I fucking love this album, I like to work out to it, I can't explain it, I'm sorry. Okay, fine.
Yeah, all right.
Now, if that person was you, that's a slap.
Yeah. 2009 Slate article, I'll just read the title, was Limp Bizkit really that bad? Why the most hated band ever deserves another listen. So overall, the critics kind of liked it. Did Robert Christgau like it? I will warn you. So this one, it's not a letter grade. This is a star system. And I can't tell you where it tops out.
Oh, so it's just some number of stars.
It's a some number of stars or a tiny little bomb emoji guy. Okay.
Well, that's the worst way ever to rate something.
Well, that's how you have to guess this time.
Oh my god.
Because sometimes
so it's either some number of stars, 1 to a million.
Yes.
Or
I don't know.
A tiny bomb icon.
Yes.
So let's review the Robert Christgau game.
Robert Christgau game is, I read a review by an insane person.
Famed lunatic, Robert Christgau.
Yeah, who has been reviewing albums since the 60s.
Yep.
And then I asked Garrett to guess what grade he would give it.
Yeah.
And this is a short one.
Okay.
This is a very short one. Give their image credit for having a sound.
That's it?
That's it. That's all you got to go on.
I gotta have it one more time. No context.
Give their image credit for having a sound.
Either some number of stars or a bomb icon.
Right.
Okay. Can you give me like a maximum number?
I'll say he's not going to give it more than 4 stars.
Oh, okay.
We'll say 4 stars. Or 4 or 5 stars. I guess that tells you it's not 5.
I'm going to give this 3.4 stars.
1 star.
Wow!
1 star. Robert Christgau does not like this.
A rare miss for me.
Yeah. Way off.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what the critics think. What do regular Joes?
Average Joe. Take us to the internet, Tim.
Okay, on Amazon, there are 1,556 reviews. I did not read all of them this week.
Thank you.
It's got a 3.9 out of 5-star average.
Wow.
70% gave this either 4 or 5 stars. 20% gave it 1 star.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. I noticed this on other albums, people will do this, but on this album in particular, for whatever reason, everyone wanted to go song by song.
Wow.
And rate in the songs. So I'm not going to do any of that. But
What kind of crazy assholes would do that?
I know, right? So this is from 1999, 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing, incredible, outstanding is the title. Durst does some outstanding vocals. There is talent just oozing out of these people. If you want some boring old crap, go buy Nine Inch Nails, Smashing Pumpkins, or some other stale music.
What?
All right.
I would rather listen to any of those bands. Even Nine Inch Nails, which you've got a big old stay tuned for that one. Because they have a whole body of work I can't stand.
5 out of 5 stars by Chip.
Chipperson.
2003 calls it an immortal CD. It has only been 4 years since the release of this CD, but it could very well possibly have the impact of that of, say, a Led Zeppelin.
Wow! Also, early Amazon subscriber.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of these are actually from like 99. So there's
Weird.
Yeah. This is a 5 out of 5, making progress, which one would
5
say
out of 5.
One would say they've made the progress apparently. Okay, here's 5 out of 5 best Limp Bizkit album by Ryan, 2008. I'd like to talk about the liner notes in the album cover.
Okay. ...
The liner notes get a 2 out of 5. The lyrics are hard to read.
He's angry with the size of the font?
Yeah.
That's his chief complaint? The
Yeah.
font size on a
Well,
media
he loved the album.
Oh.
This is a very small part of his very glowing review.
Jesus.
Yeah. 2 more real quick here. One word, awesome. This is from 99. For those of you who don't like this album, shove it. This is the best album of the year by far. Granted, the new 311, Bush, Rage Against the Machine, and Korn albums are still due out. This CD will likely surpass them. Why? Because every song on this CD is just awesome. And for all of you idiots who say no one will remember Limp Bizkit in 10 years, they'll probably still be around in 10 years. Besides that, I'm sure you'll remember your crappy bands from 10 years ago anyway. In any event, buy this album. Okay, save this for last. This is also from 1999. 5 out of 5. Limp Bizkit's significant other is anything but limp. Although I had to get it from Walmart so that it wouldn't have cursing on it because a certain mother who will remain nameless.
Her name's Mother.
It still rocks. Limp Bizkit are the rulers of rock/hip-hop. I listen to it every day along with their first album, and strange as it may sound to you, it actually helps my 11-year-old brother concentrate on his math homework.
This is adorable.
That can't be true.
No, of course not.
True.
What
All right.
an odd
That's what
review.
People who liked this, the reasons they liked it because of its Led Zeppelin and math aiding abilities.
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess I didn't think about it in those contexts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh? Let's talk a little bit about where the band's at right now. I did some research.
I have nothing on this, so
Great.
please enlighten me.
So I like to title this section After the Success. I'm gonna read a bit of this, so forgive me, but I think it's worth it. So, in the summer of 2003, Limp Bizkit participated in the Summer Sanitarium Tour. In case you couldn't guess, that was headlined by Metallica. As the tour stopped in Chicago, attendees of the concert threw items and heckled Durst from the moment he walked on stage.
That sounds accurate.
With the crowd chanting, "Fuck Fred Durst," and continuing their assault on him. Durst threw down the mic after 6 songs and walked off stage, but not before heckling the crowd back. He repeatedly said, "Limp Bizkit are the best band in the world." Not joking. Until a roadie walked up and took his microphone away.
I didn't know roadies had that ability.
I think he took it upon himself to save a man from a mental breakdown. An article in the Sun-Times stated that the hostility was started by radio personality Mancow. Mancow, I don't listen to your show, but I love it. Some other fun anecdotes from the years after the glory days. Limp Bizkit was leading the Shiprocked 2015 cruise from February 2nd to 6th. Are you familiar with the Shiprocked cruise?
I'm not, but I would like to say that this is the same year he attempted to gain Russian citizenship and move to Crimea. So,
interesting.
In that context, tell us about the Shiprocked tour.
Shiprocked is a good idea if you don't have much money and you hate good music. It is a cruise, usually 3 to 5 days, focused around a band that you would never pay to go see in concert, like Limp Bizkit. Or there is also a 311 cruise.
Oh, we should go on that live from the 311 cruise. It's the Why I Hate This Album
I don't
podcast.
want to get prosecuted for murder. There's also a Weezer cruise at one point. This is where the band has a completely different section of the boat in which they never interact with fans, but come out at least once a day and have a full concert while you're trapped on a cruise boat. So doesn't that sound fun? Here's what Mr. Borland had to say about this. He took to Instagram writing, "Can't wait to see some roided out, tribal tattooed, spray tan, jello shot filled bohunks do their best drunk MMA impressions in the top of deck of the mosh pit."
He knows his fans.
That man hates his life.
Yeah.
Borland moved to clarify his comments when talking to NME, saying, "When I first read the description of the cruise, I realized what it was going to be and thought I'd have some fun with it. I'll retract everything if I don't see a big muscly frat boy moshing in the front pit. I think that it's going to happen, and I feel safe saying, turning 40 next week, that it is hilarious that I'm spending the next week of my 30s on a shipwrecked cruise." It's funny to me. It's a joke with some truth in it. I just don't want our fans to get all butthurt and thinking I'm criticizing them. I'm not. So, even if they had some rocky times there in the mid-90s, it sounds like Limp Bizkit's really appreciating the success they have today. Whether it be being publicly heckled from the moment you step on stage and suffering through what has to be no less than 24 minutes of performing, because they don't have a song that's less than 4 minutes each, or having been trapped on a cruise filled with what is almost certainly some sort of stomach parasite, a bunch of muscled-out bro dudes who wanted nothing more than to hang out with a man in head-to-toe body paint as they head to Cancun. Yay, Limp Bizkit.
I will take that cruise with you.
Tim, who's in the house?
Limp Bizkit's in the house.
Thank you.
Limp Bizkit is in the house. Y'all.
Thank you. Who's this album for?
Floridians.
Floridians.
That's it.
People of Florida, you're welcome.
We appreciate your listening to our show.
We do not appreciate the products you create
Yes.
and unleash upon the rest of these
you and
contiguous
Bakersfield,
48.
we beg you,
Stop
take
it.
a hard... No, not even stop it. Just take a hard look. Look inside.
Yeah.
Is this what you want to be?
And if it is, great, but we're going to need to build that wall. Not the one you might have heard about. A far less expensive wall that I think a lot more people are going to support.
Made of gators?
Gator
wall?
There will be
Hashtag
gators.
Gator wall.
Now, is the wall made of gators, or are there gators beneath it?
The wall is made of gators.
That's not going to work.
They've been glued together head to tail, so there's a lot of gator heads kind of admixed in there. Mm-hmm. There's basically no place on that wall you can be that a gator's head does not have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
How do you feed that gator wall?
You let Floridians climb it. I don't know.
It'll work itself out.
Yeah.
Build that wall. Any final thoughts on this album?
No. I mean, I still hate it. I still suspect it was written by a virgin. It might be a homosexual virgin. It might be a heterosexual virgin. It might...
Anything else on the sexual spectrum?
Right. Yes.
Answer me this. We haven't talked about this that much because we've covered it in many other episodes. Rage Against the Machine came out before this band existed.
Yeah. Before this album, I think they had...
At least two.
Yeah, their other... Yeah.
They hold some responsibility.
They do.
And they accept that.
Yeah.
However, it's still... We've yet to explain, and maybe we never will. How did everybody get on board with this?
I don't know. I think that this is aggressive music. This is...
Sexually aggressive.
He threatens violence a number of times. This is something that a 12-year-old who is also a virgin can relate to.
Fair.
And say, I too have an excess. I don't have low T. Neither of us has low T. We can say that up front.
Yep.
I get it. He's angry. I'm angry. Seems to be for the same reason.
Pent-up sexual aggression?
Sexual urges and then testosterone fueled
the child,
aggression.
not you.
Well, I mean, it's a little...
Are you sexually frustrated, Tim?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to know. Keep that to yourself.
Don't ask, man.
I don't get it. That's kind of the one thing that really bothers me here is we haven't really explained how this came to be.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. It's high energy. You can plug it into a bunch of movies and TV and put it in front of people.
And there was a plethora of it at this time because it's not very hard to make.
Right.
I will say, I can't make it. I can't rap. I can't make the metal.
Right.
I can't new metal. Nope. However, there are plenty of people that can. I don't know. It's probably a convergence of things. I don't know why rap and metal, I guess those were two very popular genres at the time.
Or maybe they were winding down and so they had to slam them together. I don't know, but you're right. The preponderance of new metal in the exact same moment. This is not parallel thinking. Several people across America didn't just have a Reese's moment and mix their chocolate and peanut butter. I blame the CIA, I think. All right, we've been through this thing inside and out. We've really taken the journey. We've seen what other people think. Let's ask that all too important question. Tim, after everything's said and done, Do you hate this album?
I hate this album. I hate this album. What about you?
Yeah. I can't even pretend. I hate this album.
Yeah.
I
There's nothing
absolutely
good
hate
here.
this
Now,
album.
can I ask one extra bonus question?
Please do.
We got into this a little bit before, but in a more general sense, let's say I say we have to do a repeat episode where we listen to an album we've done before. Either this or Korn. Which one are you picking?
I think I'm picking Korn.
Okay. That's fair.
What about you?
I think I would pick Korn too.
Yeah, I really hate this.
Yeah. And Together Now, I think, is less offensive to me personally than All in the Family. However, I think Korn, as a whole...
In totality.
Yes.
Worse. Or easier. Easier to... Korn, in totality, easier to listen to.
Easier to listen to. Yes. I can't say they're a better band.
No.
I can't say they're a worse band.
No.
They're both real bad. But I would rather listen to Follow the Leader again than this again.
I agree.
Okay.
All right, I think we've done it.
Yeah.
That's it, folks. Thanks for listening. This has been Why I Hate This Album. I am Garrett Harvey.
I'm Tim Richardson.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. We want to hear what you think about it. If you have an album that you would like to hear us do on the show, reach out. hatepodmail@gmail.com. Album hatepod on Twitter.
Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that we has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Oh my God! Limp Bizkit's in the house!
Limp Bizkit's in the house, y'all.
Ugh.